Hi, Doug here with a weekly Hope 360 moment. My pastor, Pastor Rob Ketterling at River Valley Church here in Apple Valley, Minnesota, did recently a message series titled Unstoppable. And one of the weeks he preached on hope. And it was really good. It was kind of, it was a different perspective. So I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to rip this off if that's okay. He said, oh yeah, go ahead, use it. So there's some good stuff here I want to share that he shared. And he said, hope is confident. It's not a wish. And hope, if we're Christians, should not end in a question mark, but an exclamation mark. So we shouldn't be like, have the attitude, oh, I hope that this works out, like we're ending in a question mark. But we should say, hey, I have hope, I'm looking forward, and I'm not looking back, and I'm looking to God for hope. And I think the world's view of hope is that we live these anxious lives, and if we try to take over, we're going to just mess it up, and we're not relying on God. So the world's view of hope is sometimes filled with anxiety as they're questioning, oh, I hope there's hope. And he gave a great analogy during this sermon series, and it was about the movie Dumb and Dumber. And there's a guy in the movie, if you remember, he was after this beautiful girl, this girl he wanted to ask out, and he approached her and he said, hey, would you be my girlfriend, or what's the chances of you being my girlfriend and us going out on a date? And she said, about 1 in a million. And he said, yes, there's hope. And so, obviously it was ridiculous because there really wasn't any hope. But it's almost like we're idiots for having hope, in that scenario. And I feel like that's kind of, again, how the world looks at it. But hope is our anchor. And if we lose hope, we drift from what our life mission is. And as we go through the storms of life, if we're going through just despair, depression, hopelessness, whatever your crisis is that you might be going through, as we're going through these storms of life, God is our true hope. And I wanted to read you a verse, Hebrews 6:19. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. And so I want to read you just some quick one-line sentences that he read as well, and I thought they were really good. And as I'm reading this, replace the word hope or interchange the word hope with Jesus, or use it as I'm in the same context as I'm reading this. This is what it says. When we are trapped in a tunnel of misery, hope points to the light at the end. When we are overworked and exhausted, hope gives us fresh energy. When discouraged, hope lifts our spirits. When we lose our way and confusion blurs the destination, hope dulls the panic. When we struggle with a crippling disease or a lingering illness, hope helps us persevere beyond the pain. When we fear the worst, hope reminds us that God is in control. When we endure the consequences of bad decisions, hope fuels our recovery. When we find ourselves unemployed, hope tells us we still have a future. When we're forced to sit back and wait, hope gives us the patience to trust. When we feel rejected and abandoned, hope reminds us that we are not alone and that we'll make it. And finally, when we say our final farewell to someone we love, hope in the life beyond gets us through the grief. So let's refuel ourselves with hope and realize that hope ends in an exclamation mark and not a question, not that we're not going to doubt if there is hope. So as you read your Bible or your devotional, read it in that context or in that scenario where you're reading it where, yes, there is hope. And so you may be in a mess today, but God is there, and He is our true hope.